Right guys, welcome back. Day 4. Now, today is all about extras and variations. They're always going to come up on jobs. No job runs just like, well, that's the job, get on with it, finished. There's always a little extra, a little variation, a little change on site. Something just happens or comes up. You dig the ground or you rip something back out or something's not quite right and there's an extra variation. It's where a lot of jobs go wrong. And obviously we're protecting money at all levels throughout the business, so we need to cover this off. And it's really just being in a firm control of any extras or variations that might come up on site. Now, extras and variations are another opportunity to earn more profit. We want extras and variations. We can earn more money from the job. They're a good thing when you handle them in the right way. A lot of people look at, oh, fucking hell, the customer, now they want this to change their mind. Great. That's all opportunities to earn work, and you're controlling it because you're already on site. You've already won the job. The extra's not going anywhere. The customer can have whatever they fucking want as long as they fucking pay for it and you get it agreed properly. All extras and variations go wrong because they're not properly worked out, a bit like costing jobs, and they're not agreed properly. So we're going to go into all of that today. Now, never ever agree to work it out at the end. That will always end up in a complete shit show. There are no friends in business. Even if you get on really well with a client, even if you think they're a really good egg, there is always a sleeping dick somewhere who wants to fuck you over, especially when it comes to extras and people get a surprise bill at the end, which if you think about it, you would as well. If you have asked someone to do something, they just do it, but you don't actually know the cost and you think it's 200 quid, but they get a bill and it's 800 quid, who's going to lose? You. Us, the business owners, the people doing it. Once you've done it, you're fucked. You're committed, you've done it, and they can argue the price, and it just ends on a shit note of a job. Whereas it's exactly the opposite of what you don't want. You want to leave every single job. The client can't speak highly enough of you because you've communicated correctly. And this is really what extras and variations comes down to, is communicating effectively and in the right way. That's set up for you as the business owner to win and get paid what you should be paid for any extras or variations that come up. But equally, so the client knows exactly where they stand all the time. And the onus is on you. The client's not supposed to know. You've got to handle this professionally, which is what we're going to drill into today. So, recap from day 3 yesterday. We now know how to price properly and we know how to track. We've got that covered. That's essential. You made the agreement with yourself to track every job going forward, which you have to just do that. If you haven't made that agreement already, I'm fucking giving you a poke now to make sure that you do agree with that with yourself. And a reminder, what gets measured gets improved, and variations and tracking of extras is a similar thing really, so we're building on that. And we're building you into a solid business person, giving you all the right tools to go as far as you want the business to take it. All right. So 10K is our set plan and set goal. But again, this is another thing layered on that you're covered, because this will come up. Even if you're small right now, and it might just be you or a couple of guys, all this shit will come up. So you can come back to this at any time, and it's there for you to be handled in the right way. Now, extras and variations, they will always come up. They will just always come up. Like, there's not one job that is just exactly perfect. And it's where jobs get messy and arguments with the clients at the end are always about extras. It's always about extras because they've already agreed the front up price. And obviously I'm excluding anything that might have gone wrong on site or some quality of work you might not have done. I can't control that. You've got to handle that yourselves. But I would like to think if you're in this sort of business program, you are delivering work very well on site and you're good at what you do. So that shouldn't really be an issue. The argument is always about money at the end, isn't it? When someone doesn't want to pay, it's for a particular reason, and that could be the killer of cash flow. When someone owes you 20 grand, there's an extra of 2 grand, and they're just not paying you that 20 because they're arguing 2, and that 20 grand could be fucking you as a company. And put a 0 on that, or take a 0 off. Not being paid fucks anyone up. All right. So this is what we're trying to minimise all the time in a good business. The root cause of delays in payment is because of extras and variations not being agreed. So if we can remove that root cause, bar bad payers, because you will just fucking come up against some of those, and I'll talk you through how to deal with them later on. But bar the bad payers, it's always about extras and variations. And there is an easy way to handle extras, which is what we're going to teach you and go through today. And there's a hard way to handle extras by basically just not managing it. And it's just something you've got to manage. So you've got to manage this going forward. So how to manage extras and variations. Step 1, the client is either going to ask you for something to change their mind on something, or they want something new doing, or you're going to find a problem on site. So if you're digging a hole, you find a manhole, or you strip something back and you found a fucking leaking pipe, or whatever, you found mold somewhere, or you found that something's not what it should be. It's either going to be one of those two scenarios. It's either the client or you find something. Now, the thing that needs to happen from that point is if the client asks you or you found something on site, you need to inform the customer and work out the costs. And what I've put here in bold is same day rule. The day the client asks for it, you need to cost it. Like, now, I get some of you are busy, but deal with it. You've got to do this, all right? Now, equally, if you found someone on site, because sometimes things happen, especially like in the example of digging a hole, you can't stop works because it's going to delay everything else. You've got lads on site, they're working. So you as the owner, you've just got to take 5 minutes out and look at it practically and go, what is this going to cost? If you've got to dig deeper, or you're going to need more concrete, or you're going to have to buy more materials, you need to just stop for 5 minutes. Stopping for 5 minutes to do this is going to save you a load of shit down the line. I get when you're on site and you're busy and you've got things going on, but it's going to cost you more time in the longer run. So look at it and go, right, this needs to be handled today. So if a customer asks you or you find something, you've got to handle it today. And you've got to cost it and just treat it like a separate job. Like, you costed the main job correctly, like I've shown you, and you've got the tools for that. A variation is a separate job. Look at it as an extra, or a variation is a mini job added on. So you've got to get the cost. You've got to take 5 minutes out, work out the actual cost, free bucket method, materials, labour, plant, whatever it is, the impact of that extra, because there might be delays to anything else you're doing. You've got to go, that is going to cost this much to do that. Then, step 3, you add on your profit margin, just like a normal job, and potentially you can be putting more margin on. So, if you won the main job at 20%, let's say, just for argument's sake of talking figures, you might then be able to charge 30% on extras because, well, you've won the job, you're on site, you can control it. Doesn't mean you're taking the piss out of the client, but it's an opportunity, like I said, to earn extra money. And you're always earning money for the company. This is the mindset I want you to have. Profit is a very good thing. We want a lot of profit in the company. It's a good thing to have, and obviously you're controlling it. And obviously you've got to remember that when there is an extra, there's management time that goes into that. You've got to change things, you've got to change an order, you've got to manage it, you've got to speak to the customer. So you need to earn money from it. Extras shouldn't just be, oh, we'll just slap on 50 quid for this or 200 quid for that. Treat them as a mini job and you'll be set up for earning really good levels of profit from extras, and bring on the extras because it's an opportunity to earn more money. To an extent, sometimes customers ask a fucking ball ache, we all know that, but you get what I'm saying. Now, you then submit that. Once you've got your cost, you've added on your margin, you've got a firm figure that the client is going to pay you, plus VAT, you've got to submit that to the client in writing. Now, what I've put here is that could be WhatsApp, text, or email, depending on the client or the circumstance. Always back it up in writing. A conversation gets forgotten. The time you agreed it gets forgotten. So if you're off the tools, you can send an email because it's more professional. You can send a professional email further to your request, number 1, or further to finding this on site. Please see the attached cost for variation 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, and the costs associated with that. Please confirm. That's the professional way to do it, by email. And I'll do a script for that down below as well, actually, so you can just copy and paste that so it's nice and easy. But if you're on site, you're on tools, you can have a quick WhatsApp with a client saying exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same message. So you've got it in writing, you've proved it, you've sent it to the client. There's none of this that the client can say, well, I didn't know about it, you didn't tell me about it. So we're just covered, okay? That has to happen, and this has to happen in this order. And then basically you get a yes or no from the client. They either approve it or they don't. And if they approve it, great, done. You've got written confirmation they've said yes. If they don't, there's either a delay on site or you don't do the fucking extra, depending on what it is, okay? Has to happen in that way. And then what you can do, what I've got for you, of course I've got you fucking covered. What did you expect? All variations can be tracked on my sheet. There's a video below this. Easy way of working out the costs, adding the margin on, tracking them and saving them in the job folder basically that you've got. And it's all just covered. So I would just use that as well. So it's just, then you're not going to forget about it, especially on a bigger job. You're going to forget about variations, you're going to forget about extras, and that's all coming from your bottom line. So we're setting you up for success. All right, cool. So the action steps for today is watch the video below on how to cost and keep order of all the variations. That's below, like I say. Download the sheet onto your computer so it's ready there. You've got it all set up and you're all cool. Get organised, basically, is what I'm saying. And then number 3, make the commitment again. And the non-negotiable, this is non-negotiable number 2, that you handle extras and variations like a pro going forward. So you work out the cost, you agree it on the day, you get yes or no's, you either do it or you don't. Very simple, okay? And the last thing on this is, look, just pat yourself on the back, because what we've done so far in here is just building the right fucking tools. It's just setting you up for financially winning, because making 10k net a month doesn't happen by mistake. Making 20 grand net a month doesn't happen by mistake. 50, 100 grand a month doesn't happen by mistake. It happens by doing things in the right way and having good, solid business processes, which is what I'm giving you, and all the systems and all the tools. So that's it for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.